Alright guys, I'm back with Jeff Mayweather, and today we're breaking down the upcoming fight, Devin Haney versus Brian Norman, and what this means for the title picture. Jeff, let's get into it. First off, what was your reaction when you heard Devin Haney is fighting Brian Norman?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't know much about Brian Norman. I have done, I've seen a few fights of his, and I mean, the guy's a really big puncher. And so Devin's going to have to fight a very, very smart fight. He might even have to fight a fight like he fought the last fight. And the last fight that he fought was not very entertaining, but he did what he needed to do to win. And, and unfortunately, he might have to do a repeat of that fight to win against a guy like Brian Norman, because he is a big puncher.
So would you say that this is a fight where Devin needs to make a statement or just get the win?
I think that most important thing is getting the win. No matter how a win happens, because sometimes you get wins when you don't even supposed to get them. So I mean, I think whatever he needs to do to win, that's what he should do. But hopefully, Devin's is a really good fighter, and like I said, I mean, I've known Devin for a very long time, and I am a fan of Devin's. So I don't know Brian Norman, but I mean, being that I'm a fan of Devin's, supporting him, but still, I don't know much about Brian Norman, like I said, but what I've seen, the fight's going to be very entertaining. It's going to be very entertaining. Devin can win and make the fight a stinker, kind of like he did the last time. He moved so much that the fight looked horrible. But sometimes I guess that's what you gotta do to win. And I don't see the judges giving him a win like that again against a guy that's gonna be coming at him. I mean, the other guy that Devin fought, I can't even remember the last guy he fought, but I think the other guy was a big puncher as well. And Devin just basically, was all around the ring over and over and over, and so he couldn't get caught by the guy. But, he's going to have to show something. I think he's going to have to show a lot more than what he showed the last fight to keep the title. But I think, does Brian Norman have a title also?
This is a
so it's
fight.
A unification.
So he wins. If Haney wins, he gets the title.
So Devin doesn't have a title right now?
I don't believe so.
I don't know. I mean, I thought Devin was still champion, but maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's Brian fighting for the title.
I don't know. I mean, I seen him with a belt too, but that could have just been a minor belt. So I don't know. I don't know who, but I'm picking Devin to win the fight. I think that he is going to have to do a lot of moving.
Devin is challenging for the title.
Oh, okay.
Norman holds the world boxing, the WBO welterweight world title.
Okay, so he must be going up in weight there.
Yes, Devin's coming up to 147.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that if I got to pick, I would pick Devin. I think Devin's smart enough to be the guy that just has punching power. But I can't honestly assess Brian Norman because I've never seen him fight. Other than I seen highlights and films of his fight, and that was devastating. But
yeah, let's just go over some quick stats with Brian Norman, like the knockout power difference. Norman has a much higher knockout rate at 78% compared to Haney. Haney's is only 46 to 48%, with 22 out of 28 fights ending in a knockout for Brian Norman. And that suggests that Norman might rely more on stoppage power and aggressive finishing, while Haney more often wins via decision and technical work. Both fighters are similar in height. Norman seems to have a slight reach edge at 72 inches versus 71. So not really a huge factor there. Haney's fought at multiple weight classes and held big titles and unified belts. Norman's younger. I think he's around 24 years old. And he's like a rising champion in the welterweight category. That suggests that Haney has more experience at the top levels, whereas Norman may be on the ascent. And being that Norman's already a welterweight champion, Haney, he has big name status and has moved up in weight. So, is Norman the hungry young killer with power, and Haney being the skilled technician with elite credentials? Which one do you think is going to? I mean, you already said you think Haney's going to win, right? But even knowing the stats, but you don't know much about Brian Norman.
I don't know much about Brian Norman, but the one thing I do know, I know Devin has fought upper echelon fighters. So I know that Devin has already fought guys that are way better than Brian Norman.
And Haney might have the experience advantage, but Norman likely has the momentum and the finishing advantage.
That's possible, but I mean, the one thing is this: Devin has fought better fighters than Norman has. Norman, he's new on the scene, and he's young, and he's probably hungry and everything. I mean, all those things, is what a young champion's supposed to have. But at the end of the day, your experience also matters. And
but knockout power matters too.
Yeah, knockout power matters, but at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of guys that, Pernell Whitaker was a guy that beat almost everybody and had no knockout power. So it's not about knockout power. Knockout power is great. It's a great seller, but you don't have to have that to win fights.
Okay, so to wrap things up, you are predicting Haney for the win?
I'm predicting that Haney gonna win the fight. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Brian Norman.
Even though I don't know much about Norman other than the fact that he has power, but power don't necessarily win fights.
All right, I'm going with Brian Norman.
Okay.
We should make a bet.
Let's bet.
All right, we're gonna make a bet. We gotta think of something else. We gotta think of what we're gonna bet.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta bet something, and then we're gonna make a YouTube video on it. So like, you might have to run around in your underwear or something like that.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
Maybe run around in just a Clayoffs t-shirt.
Maybe I could do that.
Just a t-shirt. All right, folks, we're gonna make a bet, and if I win, Brian Norman wins. I have to think of something that Jeff Mayweather has to do on camera on his YouTube channel.
Okay.
All right, we gotta shake.
Well, you ain't
shake
saying what you gonna do.
Well, we're just gonna shake.